I'm gonna go,
Do your thing.
Yes!
Hey everyone, welcome back. This is gonna be my first reaction video, and also Joe from Seattle, I hope you're watching this, and I'm just gonna give my 2 cents into it. You don't copyright strike me, okay? I mean, I'm starting to like your content more. This video is something I took an interest to it, so I thought maybe I could react to it. And to the commentary community, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be much of help. I hope that my video can provide some meaningful closure for all of you. Now, I'm not gonna be recording all of it, just a little bit disclaimer. I'm gonna get my 2 cents into it and also offer more commentary. Right now, by the time of this upload, it's already 1 week after Marvel Spider-Man 2 has released, and there's a lot of questions that needed answering.
Sony's strategy with PC ports, if you can really call it a strategy, has been extremely strange and, dare I say, adorably clueless. They started out strong with the ports of God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn and later Spider-Man, and there were even some surprise hits in there like Days Gone and Death Stranding, both of which had kind of ho-hum reception on the PlayStation, but then found new life on the PC for one reason or another. Death Stranding I get, Days Gone, I'm still scratching my head at what so many people see in that game. But Sony's first-party PC strategy was working good for the first few years, but over the last couple years, Sony has seemingly looked at what got them here and said to themselves, great, time to keep the ball rolling, and then proceeded to replace the ball with a guy in a ball costume who they just throw down a flight of stairs every 3 to 4 months. Sony's PC endeavors started out really strong, and it seemed like they were actually taking it seriously. I remember the hype leading up to the God of War launch and the Horizon Zero Dawn launch, and even the Days Gone launch, really. There was a lot of social media hype, there was a lot of push, the games did not launch for full price, although that was another big factor, and it really seemed like Sony was on to
Wow, Joe, you start off pretty well. You're impressing me. There was a lot of hype. This is the new future because right now, every games or every publisher have to ask themselves one thing: emulation or PC port, because they already know that they can't let emulation have it. I mean, take a look at Nintendo. It's either be emulation or PC ports. And I'm pretty much certain some of those developers have a computer. Remember, games are made by high-end computers. And all of those developers knew if they develop a game just for one hardware, but the others, they'll miss out. Even Microsoft CEO Phil Spencer also said that everyone is going to miss out if they put it in one platform, like Xbox. That's why Microsoft went in, not just to create a game for Xbox, but for PC. Because Microsoft have operating system, console manufacturer. I'm sorry, Joe, this is my first time reaction, so I hope you don't copyright strike me. Yes, they did the ball rolling, and everything flopped after The Last of Us. In the end, they make up for it with Marvel Spider-Man. I mean, take a look how that hyped up. And not only that, I think maybe because you're not just having Marvel games, you have Marvel movies, Marvel TV shows, everything. Yes, it's just a game, but for me, when I play Marvel Spider-Man, I see more. Because every story in that game has something to talk about for my YouTube channel. For example, Silver Lining. Yes, we have Spider-Man and Silver Sable team up. I can even use that for a team up of MCU, Peter Parker, and Silver Sable in the MCU, if they ever choose that way. That's a lot of things you can do.
Ever since then, they've almost gone out of their way to reverse the goodwill that PC gamers have had towards them up to this point. Because up to, about a year and a half-ish ago, Sony had a pretty good reputation with PC gamers. The ports were consistently solid, the pricing was, a bit high, but still, on the high end of still being fair. But then they just completely 180'd, and it's like they have no idea what they're doing anymore on the PC. You port Uncharted 4 before any of the other Naughty Dog games. You port Sackboy at all. Sackboy's a good game, but why make it make sense why that game was at near the top of the PC port priority list? That will never make sense to me. Meanwhile, you're completely ignoring the gigantic Soulsborne community on the PC, which is why, despite games like Remnant 2 being one of the top sellers on Steam of the entire year, and a little indie game that you may not have heard of called Elden Ring, which sold 10 million copies on PC in a week.
First off, Monday, I'm gonna be playing Elden Ring, maybe next year. I hear it is graphically demanding, of which I'm not certain if Marvel Spider-Man 2's graphic is gonna be similar to Elden Ring, because I did hear a comment saying some of them said that Marvel Spider-Man 2's graphic could be similar to the previous one, with some added features. I don't know, I'm still debating whether I should continue using my gaming laptop with the RTX 3050 or upgrade it to a 4050, 4060 or anything. I hope I can get your suggestion. Still debating on that one. Yes, Sony completely 180. They just need to make money, but take a look at The Last of Us. That game flopped when it released. Naughty Dog apologized and they patched it. I'm pretty much certain it's already okay, which also I'm going to be playing The Last of Us Part 1 PC and PS3 if I can get one. Let me know in the comments which one should I go first. Before I continue further, which I'm certain Joe is going to be talking about, PlayStation Fanboys.
Yeah, we're still waiting on Bloodborne and Demon's Souls, and also there's just the really obvious strategy flaw of not releasing games day and date on PC, because when you wait a year plus to release a game on PC, and also especially when you barely market the thing, that's another problem. They just stopped marketing PC ports for some reason. I'm old enough to remember when God of War's PC port and Spider-Man's PC ports were getting really big marketing pushes, but
I think we should have seen this coming. Now, as they should release day and date, I think this whole PC port started with Microsoft. Sony must have observed Microsoft, how they work. My opinion is that they saw that Microsoft released games on the console, and then a week later on the PC.
Because according to modern Sony, only Naughty Dog is worthy of PC port hype, and we all know how Naughty Dog's PC port hype went. If you're not gonna release games day and date, you have to then understand that you're marketing the games and you're selling the games to an audience of people who probably already had the game spoiled for them and are not going to want to pay full price for a game that they've been hearing about for a year plus at that point.
I think by the time of my theory is that Microsoft probably started developing the game, and at the same time, they developed the PC port. And now that Sony has Nixus, they can do it.
Clueless of how to navigate the PC market, that October 14th, it was starting to spread around Twitter that PlayStation is actually looking for a PC planning analyst.
I'm probably assuming that by the time you guys have already played the PS5 version of Marvel Spider-Man 2, the PC port is now starting to develop. Because I know that the PC port is gonna be released after all the DLC has been released, because you can't have a PC port without DLC, without patches, without updates.
Again, Sony didn't used to do this. All of their PC ports were like $40 to $50 up until around Uncharted 4's PC port. Then they decided to make everything $60 all the time, no matter what. I'll never get over this. It's like God of War, $50. Spider-Man, $50. Sackboy, gotta need an extra tenner for that one. That's some extra quality, but boy, pay up, fucker. Sony obviously has a big success strategy on their hands. Sony knows that they can succeed on the PC.
I'm pretty certain that the PC port will have all the features like patches, update, etc. on the console. I did heard some people say there were bugs during their gameplay, but I look at YouTube if there are bugs, why there are still gameplay footage? Unless they edit it out, which is a different matter. But regardless, by the time the PC port arrives for Marvel Spider-Man 2, all of those things will be fixed. Not everything. I'm certain they're gonna be a PC patch when it came out, or a week after it came out. So don't know when, maybe 2024, 2025, or before the movie, because don't forget, we still have Marvel movies. Because you have to know, they have to make sure there's no hype around where they're going to release. Okay, let's say for example, they released it on February or perhaps December. What if there's a movie that is happening there? If there's a movie that is similar to the game, then the hype would probably not be there. It would be overshadowed. I could be wrong. Don't worry, I don't mind criticism because sticks and stones will break my bone, but words, no, it won't. I'll handle criticism like a pro.
Description reads that the new hire will be doing PC forecasting and performance reporting and presentations, growth analysis, ad hoc analysis, market insights. So aside from being further evidence that Sony is still taking the PC seriously and they're not walking away from the platform anytime soon, much to the dismay of the fanboys, but it's also at least a little bit reassuring that Sony is doing their usual strategy of just throwing money at things instead of actually analyzing the problem. I love this. You could ask any PC gamer in the country, in the world, what Sony needs to do better in order to succeed on PC, and they would all say the same things. Go day and date, port the games that PC gamers actually want, and if you insist on a delayed PC launch over the console launch, do not launch it for full price. You ask any PC gamer in the world what PlayStation needs to do in order to succeed on PC, and they would say some, if not all, of those three things.
Now, all those points, I agree 100%. It had to go day and date. First, we have to know one thing. Not everybody can afford a console. I'm gonna tell you how much I'm gonna be spending for a console. PS5. Wanna know how much it's gonna cost me? 4467 Malaysian ringgit. I'm gonna put a value after this, what I'm about to say. I'm not gonna just be buying a console. I'm gonna have to buy 2 games. I have to buy a 24-inch monitor. I have to buy a capture card. All these 4 things add up to 4467 Malaysian ringgit, which I think equals to a few $100, less than $1,000 bucks. And my gaming PC, my gaming laptop right here, the one I'm using, wanna know how much it costs? 4,500. Okay, it may not be exactly similar in terms of price, but it's a bit closer. So what's my choice? A gaming laptop. And not only that, if I want to show you this, my desk right here is relatively small. I had to make do with what I have. I can't do anything about it. That's why when it comes to console, trust me, I'm gonna need a lot of space and a lot of money. So I will probably go for a gaming laptop. And I game on the laptop or either play on emulator. And trust me, I still miss the good old PS2 and PS1 era. Those were my favorites.
Is the kind of company that doesn't really like to do a lot of analysis on their own. They'd rather just throw money at things, and now they're gonna pay somebody 6 figures to tell them what anybody on Twitter could have told them in 2 seconds for free. But fucking get that bread. Whoever gets this job, dude, you got it, bro. We're counting on you. But this tweet started going around that PlayStation is looking for a PC planning analyst, and unsurprisingly, it upset some people. I'll never understand why people are still mad about the PlayStation brand expanding into the PC, because like if you like these games, then you shouldn't really have a problem. Well, first of all, you shouldn't have any problem with them being properly preserved for future generations of gaming, because obviously the PS5 is not always going to be operable. Every PS5, every PS4 game is not always going to be operable on PlayStation hardware, so why wouldn't you want the game preserved on the PC? But then there's the bigger thing of just these games are exclusive, and if you are a diehard Sony guy, if you're a big Sony guy, you probably are obsessed with exclusives because that's really all they got at this point. And if you disagree with me on that point, then let me ask you a question. If not for exclusive games, what does PlayStation give you that isn't on other platforms? Or better yet, aside from exclusive games, what does PlayStation do better than other platforms?
You know, Joe, you and me, we should be game reviewers. I mean, better than IGN. Do you think they're gonna hire us for Marvel Spider-Man 3? Crossing my fingers. Another interesting point that I have to agree. Yes, console have exclusive, but preserving games, we have about 2 choices. Emulation or PC port. Look, take a look at the PS2 era. Medal of Honor Rising Sun and other PS2 games, they never get a PC port because it is exclusive to the PS2 and Xbox. And this is the problem. Trust me, when I first played Medal of Honor Rising Sun, Medal of Honor Frontline, and not only that, Medal of Honor Underground, it is pretty much hard to play a first-person shooter, but I had to deal with it. And also, unlike if you're playing a third-person shooter, which is a different thing, or a fighting game, a controller is good. But a first-person shooter is different. Although there will be exception by most people, because I'm pretty certain some YouTubers are comfortable with a controller, like one YouTuber I know, Noisy Butters, she is practically playing Call of Duty with a controller. For me, I'm comfortable with both a controller and a keyboard and mouse. If I'm playing games such as Spider-Man, Batman, or even any fighting game, I will use a controller. Well, except of course for Spider-Man. I don't know what happened. There was one time I had to use a keyboard and mouse because I don't know, I missed the quick time event. And another thing, for keyboard and mouse, I will only play that for competitive or perhaps even first-person shooter, like Call of Duty, Medal of Honor 2010, Call of Duty World at War, anything that is first-person shooter.
Getting rid of exclusives means the platforms have to compete better as platforms, and that is good for all gamers. And also there's just the obvious anti-consumer aspect of holding pieces of art hostage on just only for certain plastic boxes that just so happen to also be the plastic box made by the company holding the piece of art hostage. It's dumb. Exclusives are dumb. It's good that Sony is walking away from them, but this tweet that they were looking for a PC planning analyst got a lot of negative attention from the Sony fanboys, and we're going to laugh at them. Because at this point, fucking just give it up. Like, it's over. You lost.
I think all of us should have seen it coming. Every gamer should have seen it. I believe Sony already seen the developers' request. Games are made with high-end gaming computers. And yes, you made it for console, but what about other platforms? I know I can assume that every developers are aware that they need to sell it more platform, not just on one platform, but more. Because they see how Kingdom Hearts 3 success. Yes, they sold it not just in 2 platforms, but they also ported to PC. Here's another example. Resident Evil, Capcom's majority sales was coming from PC. And here's another one, Elden Ring, which I'm going to be playing it in the near future. Also come from PC, the sales. See how the market for PC has grown? And let me tell you about my Steam library. I only have 2 games that I purchased, Resident Evil 4 Remake and The Avenger. Now remember, I don't purchase most games because I normally purchase this just to relax or perhaps use it for gameplay footage in my YouTube content. But if I do purchase any of this, it will either be a fictional game, open world, or superhero related games such as Marvel Spider-Man, Batman, or perhaps first-person shooters. Yes, I have a free-to-play game such as World of Tanks Blitz. It's not that good, but at least it's got the job done.
Because at this point, fucking just give it up. Like, it's over. You lost. At ZerPS5 says, never coming to PC day 1, and then has a highlighted piece of what I think is a blog post. It says both performance and fidelity modes feature ray tracing in Marvel Spider-Man 2. Yeah, that's a problem, actually. Ray tracing being permanently enabled in Spider-Man 2 is a problem, because you know what it makes the game look like? This.
Okay, ray tracing, I don't see any difference, but then again, I wonder how graphically demanding this game is. I don't know about you, because I overheard some people say it is similar to Elden Ring, but not in terms of storage, because based on my analysis, the calculation is correct. The PS4 version of Marvel Spider-Man 1 is about, what, 67 gigs, including patches, updates, and even DLC. It was originally 45 gigs, but you have to add additional 22 gigs for the updates, patches, and DLC. I have to assume, I checked on the internet, I did a Google search. Marvel Spider-Man 2 is 98 gigs at minimum. Now that doesn't factor in patches, DLC, and updates, so I had to go with my gut. If I had to make a guess, it has to be more than 100 or perhaps at least 130 gigs. Or perhaps they could make it less. Let's just hope it works.
In performance mode, the optimization of Spider-Man 2 is actually pretty impressive everywhere but performance mode. Performance mode just does not look good in motion. And I absolutely believe it's because the ray tracing is force enabled. You can't turn off ray tracing even if you're in performance mode. But also, I love how you highlight this. You say, thanks to the title launching exclusively on PS5. How is this evidence that games are never coming to PC day 1? This is one game. Like, yeah, we know Spider-Man 2 is not coming to PC day 1. We could have told you that already. We're talking about the future. Obviously, when people say that Sony should be putting games on PC day and date, they don't mean that Sony should go back in time and try to do that for all of the games that have already come out. That's fucking dumb. At Lohi.
That I agree. They're not supposed to go back in time. It's not going to be day 1. Not everybody can buy games day 1. Because you should know, I mean, take a look what happened in Resident Evil 4 Remake. What happened in day 1. Many people are complaining there was DRM, frame rate issues when it comes to that. I know this is not related, but when I first purchased Resident Evil 4 Remake, I purchased it about 1 day before my birthday on March 26th. I think I remember correctly. And that is 2 days after the game was launched. When I first got it, the gameplay was smooth. So I had to assume that the first patch, when I first played it, has already been arrived the moment I downloaded after purchase. I don't know what happened because, trust me, when I first played the first campaign and the village section and everything was smooth. There was no frame rate issues. I didn't even notice it. I could be wrong, but that's the thing people are trying to worry, or every developer had to worry, because DRM and most importantly anti-piracy. I don't support piracy or DRM. We have to look things objectively or broader. People like us, we don't have a choice. Yes, if you're living in the United States, the games are cheaper, or the UK. Other countries, that's not the case. Take a look at my country. Yes, your PS5 costs what, $500 to $600, and you convert that into Malaysian ringgit. How much does it cost? $2,000. That's expensive. And not only that, the games itself is expensive too. I mean, this is not like PS2 era where you buy the console and then you get free games. That doesn't work anymore. Except, of course, if you buy the bundle, which is a different matter. But then again, if you buy the bundles, you only got what's inside, nothing more. That's why, for me, I'm willing to wait, what, a few weeks, a few years, or a few months for everything to be patched, update, and on sales.
Try to do that for all of the games that have already come out. That's fucking dumb. At Lohipuico. Yeah, we're going with that. Lohipuico says, we all know the answer. Day 1 PC. Pac-Man responds, never. Lohipuico says, not saying it will happen soon, but it will eventually. Pac-Man says, not a chance. They make 27 billion in revenue annually from... Why am I doing this? I thought I was impersonating this specific character, and now I have no clue what I was... This is why I script videos now. Not a chance. They make 27 billion in revenue annually from PlayStation consoles and software, etc. Not willing to sacrifice that for a paltry few million. I don't get this.
Hey Joe, it's okay if you script it. To me, I don't script it. Sometimes I just improvise what I need to say. Yes, I could ramble on and on. You could argue with that. Doesn't matter. Sometimes you just have to think. In one look at the video, I just can imagine the words coming to my head. It will eventually happen. In my opinion, I assume that Marvel Spider-Man 2 has already started to develop its PC port. I'm certain Nixus is already planning one. And to all my viewers, why does Sony even put up that pamphlet saying that there's a job opening for PC planning analysts? Because they knew that they needed to get these games ported to PC so that they can make more money and more people will play it. Yes, they will be charging more, or I don't know if they're gonna charge more on PC, of which I'm gonna be playing Marvel Spider-Man. Let's just say my computer right here, I just have a few hundred gigs left for 2 more games. And I'm gonna save it. Don't worry, I don't script my video sometimes. I just put a bullet point. If I need to script anything, it's not easy to remember what you need to talk when you have a script, but that's just me.
This is so stupid. They make 27 billion in revenue annually from PlayStation consoles and software. Well, if they put the software on other pieces of hardware, they would just increase that number out of the gate. So, question mark.
That is true. Yes, PlayStation made 27 billion. But what about the PC? How many did PC make? Let's see for certain. PC games market size 2023. Let's see. Well, what's this? What do we have here? And let's see how large it is. How many revenue they have right here? See this? See this? Ooh, what's this? Take a look at this. Here, let's move to image. See this one. Here you go. All right, everyone. Do you see this? PC game market. This is 2023. Yes, I know. This one. This one, higher, 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 higher. You want more? Let's find more. Let's try this one. See? Hoorah! PC gaming rules. Let's see one question. Is PC game market increase? Increase. Here it is, everyone. Annual rate. This year, all the way to 2030. 7 years. You can argue consoles are selling better in terms of their games, but PC, they are selling in record numbers. And not only that, let me show you Steam. You know what? Let's see Steam. Let's see that. Steam highest sells. Highest selling game. Let's see what's the highest. Top sell. Here it is. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. We got Counter-Strike. Here's the top sellers. Steam Deck. Okay, not Cyberpunk. Hoorah. EA Sport. Apex. What is this? Dota. War Thunder. Starfield. Ooh, Starfield. What else? Anything? Street Fighter. What, you want more? Here, see? There you go. Seriously, you can scroll endless. Wow, I have to say, Steam has a lot of games. Even the old games like Left 4 Dead is now on sales. It's probably, what, a few bucks or so? It's cheaper. It's probably cheaper right now. You know what, Joe? I think you and I, we should be game reviewers.
But also, you seem to think that putting the games on PC, you seem to think that's going to sacrifice revenue of PlayStation consoles. Like, you use the word sacrifice. Aside from that just not really being the case, because as everyone has pointed out already, the PC doesn't really compete with the PlayStation. The PlayStation has not convinced PC gamers to convert, and Sony is realizing now that you probably never will convince PC gamers to convert to PlayStation if you haven't gotten them already. So putting the game on the PC does not really sacrifice anything. But that's also glossing over the fact that if you think putting the software on a different piece of hardware, that now inherently means the console sales will take a big hit.
Firstly, it's 100% true. Nobody is going to buy a console. Every gaming company and every gaming developers, they already told to Microsoft, or perhaps in this case Sony, no one's going to convert to console. I think Microsoft was the first one that noticed that after the Xbox 360. Because they knew that, well, people won't convert to consoles if they already have a PC. And my boy, my guy, my confidant, the PC port is never gonna stop. They're gonna keep coming. I think Sony is the second company to realize that. Microsoft was the first one to realize that if they port games to PC after they finish with a console a week later, they get more revenue. And even Phil Spencer, like I said, I know I'm repeating this, Phil Spencer of Xbox says that people are going to miss out if they keep games on one platform. And that is a true thing. I just missed out Marvel Spider-Man. I didn't get a chance to play that game on the PS4 because I couldn't afford that. Because I only have a gaming laptop. I always wanted to play Marvel-related hero games or superhero games and DC, but when it goes to the console, it's pretty much difficult. PC gamers have to wait at least, 2 to 3 years, or maybe 4. I don't know, maybe we could get it early.
Gee whiz. You might have figured out the problem with PlayStation. Pac-Man was on a roll in this thread. In this response, he says, "Fuck PC gaming. These PC ports need to stop." Yes, Sony's going to walk away from this money. This is the kind of money that they're generating by just putting cheap ports on PC, because the ports are nowhere near the same kind of budget as the actual PS5 version. Porting a game is way cheaper than developing a new one, and this is the kind of money they're getting back. They've been generating ridiculous revenue from PC ports. Even the ones that don't sell well, they generate a lot of revenue. And their console sales are still looking nice. They have been looking nice since before we've been in this position, so it's like, I don't get the idea.
You know, I'm gonna say the same thing again. Joel, do me a favor, clip this please. And my boy, my guy, my confidant of the PS5 games and other fanboys, it's never going to stop. The PC port is gonna keep coming. It's gonna keep coming. Coming. Sorry, it's a bit creepy. I know. It's a bit creepy.
PC ports are stopping people from buying PlayStations, but also woohoo, look at all the PlayStations we've sold. It's fucking pick a side. But yeah, Pac-Man is upsetty, and I think we should get him some spaghetti. Tim Dog PlayStation fan says, "Is not day one cope?" And this is in response to Sony hiring a new PC strategist. Who's coping here? Like, who? Is it PC Focus? Are they coping? Is Sony coping because they're spending 6 figures on a PC analyst? Oh my god.
You are coping. Coping is seeing. You just can't what you're seeing. Sorry, I don't know how to say that. I think the PlayStation fanboys or any console fanboy is probably coping. And no, if Nintendo fanboys are watching this, don't even think for a second Marvel Spider-Man 2 is gonna come to Nintendo Switch. And like I said in my previous video, Marvel Spider-Man 2 is probably gonna make your Nintendo Switch outdated or perhaps make it shut down in a snap of a finger. The Nintendo Switch is underpowered. Not every game is gonna be ported to there unless if they lower the resolution, which trust me, it's not gonna happen. Resident Evil 4 Remake, Marvel Spider-Man 2, these are the 2 games that have high fidelity and the Nintendo Switch cannot even run it. I mean, it could barely even start. Let's finish one more thing. Perhaps we can see how we end this one.
This so much. Monk PlayStation says, "Fuck off with this. We need them to focus on new IP for the console, not wasting devs on PC ports that sell 100K. Again, reminder of how much fucking money Sony is making on the PC, and if you want them to sell more than 100K, then maybe they should be putting more resources towards it. We can't waste devs on PC ports that sell 100K? Great, then give them more devs. You fucking banana head. Sony trying to figure out how to make another movie game. Sony trying to figure out how to grow it. At this point, there's actually no reason to make a PS6. Yes, Alex, you goofy goober, that's why this is a good thing. If they stop obsessing over holding games hostage, they will have to make the platform better.
Again, to end this off, we had to understand that whether you like it or not, it's gonna come to PC at some point. Take a look at Call of Duty 2. It launches like what? On the Xbox or the PlayStation? I don't know, I could be wrong. And it also launched on the PC. Games have 2 choices. They have 2 options. Either PC ports or emulation. I think Microsoft and Sony, seeing it in PS2, they knew that their games is going to be sold out. It's going to run out like PS2 and PS3 and the Xbox, Nintendo DS, and the PSP, which I think the PSP is the last one, and then the PS Vita. But we have to acknowledge that in order to preserve games, you have to put it in a hardware where it can last long. The PC will last long. Sure, yes, you can upgrade hardware, like gaming PC, you can just swap a new graphics card by replacing the old one. But at the same time, PC can last longer. I'm pretty much certain it can last longer than 10 years. You know what? Let's check. How long can gaming PC last? Gaming PC lasts 3 to 4 years. What about gaming laptop? Gaming laptop lasts. Yeah, see this? For gaming laptop, it's way longer. When it comes to laptop and PC, it depends on preference, okay? I think some people rather prefer laptop, some people prefer gaming PC. That depends on preference. For me, I prefer a laptop. Not just I can move around, but yes, I could be sacrificing power, like my battery. But in the end, I can still play, I can still edit my videos. And PC or laptop, you can do more. You can watch YouTube, Netflix, you can watch video that you record, edit your video, Photoshop, etc. And not only that, the games that you purchase are preserved. For instance, if I still have my Steam account, which if I remember correctly, Steam, they have a cloud storage. Let's just say if I buy a new computer, if I still have my Steam account, I log in, enter the necessary restriction or perhaps code for the security block, and voila, the games that I purchase is still there. So to the commentary community, I don't know if my video is going to be much help with your situation with the queen of reaction content, reaction creator. I don't know what she wanted to call it. I don't want to mention her name. I don't want to get in trouble, okay? This is going to be, I think by the time of this upload, I'm already back from vacation, at least. Sorry, I have to stutter a lot. This is my first time on commentary, and also this is my first reaction video. So, Joe, I will link your video in the description down below. Don't copyright strike me, okay? Thank you so much. Leave a like and subscribe. Relevant content will be in the description down below, along with the original video in the description as well. And there's also up here is my past video, so you can see it. And there's also my second channel in the description and also up here. It's not worth it for fanboyism.